Seeing as we are on fire solving company and business names here for the glory of Jesus equals 888, there is a software package that is universally hailed as probably the best 3D animation software package in the world, and it is called Maya. And I'm going to pull up an image for you, some imagery on Maya. And Maya, here we are. And this is the logo. And any artist in 3D graphics will instantly recognize this. It is used in 3D animation, 3D modeling, architecture, you name it. And then I encourage you to look at the Wikipedia article for Maya as the software package, so you can see just how big it is. But I'm just pulling up several examples. Okay, Autodesk Maya. Here we go. Well, what does Maya add to? First of all, well, let's do it on the Wikipedia page. Maya, 40 exactly. One of God's favorite numbers to glorify. Jesus equals 888. Okay, and this is, well, you can read about the industry usage. It's basically, from what I understand, you can read about it for yourself, but it's basically it's certainly one of the best 3D modeling packages in the world. And it has a great name. It's the glory of Jesus equals 888. So now, this is just one example of how you can intentionally name your business, your software. You can intentionally name whatever it is to the mathematical glory of Jesus. I don't know what Autodesk is. Folks, I had no idea. The Autodesk is 96 and 8 letters exactly. I just calculated that now. Add that to the pile. Autodesk in 8 letters is 8 times 12 to the glory of Jesus equals 888. So Autodesk Maya in full is 136, 8 times 17. So there are people, folks, there are thousands upon thousands of people who use this tool full time every day for their livelihood. So for them to be shown that their favorite tool is for the glory of Jesus equals 888 is a big deal. Okay? And it is, I'm sure it's got all sorts of, I mean, yeah, it's got tons of awards. You can read all about it. But that's awesome. This is just an example of a business glorifies Jesus equals 888 and a product that glorifies Jesus equals 888. Awesome. There you go. There you go. I wonder if the original author does the same. This is just an example of how you can name your business to the mathematical glory of Jesus. Do it intentionally so that it prospers. Oh, Elias Wavefront. That's interesting. Elias Systems Corporation. You can literally do math and everything. This is not nearly as glorious. It's good for you to have some examples of things that aren't out of control. Awesome. And so yeah, Maya equals 40. Just an example of a product name. That's a great name. What else can we do? Oh, the Mona Lisa. How about we solve the world's most expensive art piece right now for Jesus equals 888? Why is the Mona Lisa the most expensive? And the answer is the same as always for the mathematical glory of Jesus equals 888. So let's go with Mona Lisa, the world's most famous art piece. I almost feel like we should have some music playing in the background, like one of those, tantalizing, mystery solver soundtracks or something where we're, traveling through the universe, solving everything. The Mona Lisa, okay? Well, the full name. Aha, there's our 84 and 8 letters. That's a perfect 7-fold set of 12s, okay? Now remember, Jesus equals 888. I'm going to show you how this works. Jesus equals 888. It's this simple, folks. Equals 12 times the 12th prime, doubled, okay? So he takes the glory for all 12s. Well, the Mona Lisa equals 84, which is an all-factor 8 number, and that is a perfect 7-fold set of 12. 7 times 12. And so what you are to see in your mind is 7 12s, a complete set of 12s. So who is the shining star of this number, 84? 12. Well, Jesus used 12s all the way through the Bible, from the 12 tribes of Israel to the 12 apostles to the 12 gates of heaven and the 12 angels at the 12 gates of heaven, and it's just out of control. And of course his name is 12 times the 12th prime doubled. So this is one of his favorite numbers, 12, and so it does not surprise us at all that the Mona Lisa is a perfect 7-fold set of 12s, resulting in an all-factor 8 number, in 8 letters exactly. So in every way, Jesus equals 888 takes the glory for the Mona Lisa. And that's how the entire universe works. Anything that is prominent in world history, pull it up, do the numbers, and you'll find Jesus taking the glory for it. It's that simple. It's just that simple. Oh, but who's greater than the painting? Ah, the artist. And now we come to everyone's favorite name in world history, Mr. Leonardo da Vinci. And, pardon me, I must be running really short on RAM or something, because this is not even loading okay. It's taking its sweet time to load his picture. Oh, it's because I'm uploading video, that's why. So Leonardo da Vinci, widely hailed as one of the greatest geniuses of all time, one of the greatest men of the Renaissance. Let's do the math on his name for the glory of Jesus. Leonardo, I'm not sure if this is his birth name, but if it is, there you go. So there you go. We just solved the Mona Lisa because we solved the painter of the Mona Lisa. By solving the painter, we take the glory for all of his artwork. See that? We solve the root, we therefore take the entire tree. So, by solving Leonardo da Vinci for g is equals 8 at 8, we have taken the entire tree for the glory of Jesus. We've solved all of his paintings, all of his works, all of his genius, his writings. We've plucked up the whole tree and said, thank you, we're taking this one home for Jesus, as we have all of everything in world history. So we've just solved the Mona Lisa for g is equals 8 at 8. We've just solved Leonardo da Vinci for g is equals 8 at 8. His full name by birth, as you can see for yourself, adds to exactly a triple of 88s. 88 times 3. Doesn't get much better than that. Okay? This is the exact value of the pair of Hebrew roots that Jesus spoke to his disciples when he said to them, follow me. That was both the first thing he spoke to his disciples and the last thing that he spoke. In the book of John, you can read the story for yourself. Jesus said, follow me in the beginning and follow me in the end. Well, this is that number, 264, a pair of a triple of 88s. 88, 88, 88, to the glory of Jesus equals 8 at 8. That's Leonardo da Vinci. He's essentially heralded as one of the greatest Renaissance geniuses in the history of the world. And his works, I'm not even going to start talking about what he's done because it's been talked about by thousands of people, for hundreds of years. He lived in the 1500, he died in 1519. This is over almost 500 years now. But he is written about, talked about, discussed at length by thousands of people for hundreds of years. I'm not going to go there. I am here to tell you that he is mathematically glorious for the glory of Jesus equals 8 at 8, and that is why he is the genius of geniuses in world history, and that is why he has the famous name that he has in world history, because it's for the mathematical glory of Jesus. Period. That's my job, is to take the glory for everything that is anything in world history and say it's mathematically the way that it is by divine ordinance for the glory of Jesus equals 8 at 8. This is the way that God has chosen to glorify his son Jesus in every single thing in world history. He has chosen to do it using numbers, because numbers are pure, numbers are exact, numbers are clean, numbers are the king of all science and all truth, and that is the truth. And we are revealing this truth to the world so that all parents can be inspired to name their children to the highest level of mathematical glory to Jesus equals 8 at 8, so that they too can have historic children. Okay, because God does everything for Jesus, okay? And I will leave you to read everything that you want about his life. What we care about is that Leonardo da Vinci is one of the greatest names in all of world history, and that he mathematically glorifies Jesus exceedingly. Done. So in one calculation, we have solved all of Leonardo da Vinci, his entire life, all of his works, everything that he accomplished for Jesus equals 8 at 8. And let's just briefly scroll down into some of the paintings and some of the works so that you can instantly be reminded of how great this man was. His sketches were beyond parallel, certainly in his time, and very much so up until now in many ways. Beautiful, beautiful religious paintings. The Last Supper. This is a slightly expensive work of art. It's probably the most expensive work of religious art that exists in the world today. And it's probably the most well-known work of religious art that exists in the world today. The Last Supper. Pardon my slow connection here. It's because I'm uploading video and I'm not about to interrupt it. But but this is disturbingly slow. I really apologize. But you can Google for yourself an image of the Last Supper. It's the most famous painting in Christian art, practically. Oh, and there's the Mona Lisa, pardon me. And oh, these aren't even loading now. This is all Leonardo da Vinci. You've seen all these images, and this is just a quick review, okay? Well, Leonardo da Vinci adds perfectly. Leonardo di Ser Piero da Vinci. It's his full name, 266. If you do the math on Leonardo da Vinci, you get gobbledygook. It's not nearly as glorious as the true full birth name of the man. God insists on perfect accuracy. Notice that if we leave one letter off of his name, what do we get? We don't get a multiple of 8. Not at all. Okay? What if we leave the first letter off of his name, or any of the other letters out of his name? We don't get the glory. Okay? But his name, perfectly in full, as written in every single historical book, is, by divine ordinance, a triple of 88s. And that is how accurate God insists that you name your businesses and your children. Otherwise, he will withhold the blessing from your children, and he will withhold the blessing from your business, because you did not fail to be perfect in the way that you named your child and in the way that you named your business. God is holy. God is the King of perfection. Do you know how difficult it was and is for God to orchestrate every letter to be in the place where it is, so that it mathematically points to Jesus? If God exercised that care in his holy scripture, and he commands that his children be perfect just as he is perfect, straight out of the mouth of Jesus, do you think it's too much for God to expect that you take some serious care in naming your children letter by letter to add up to the highest level of mathematical glory of Jesus? Your job is not difficult. God's job was difficult. He doesn't ask much of you. You only have to come up with some, the names for your kid. It's not difficult. It's been done many times through history, and I'm showing you examples of where it's been done well, so that you can look at these examples and say, I could come up with a name that adds to 264. Yes, you could. Go for it. It's not difficult. It just takes a little bit of time. And it just takes a little bit of time. So there you go. We've just solved Leonardo da Vinci for g is equals 8 at 8. And now we're going to solve Michelangelo. Okay? And this is probably, in my estimation, Michelangelo is the greatest painter in world history, chiefly and almost entirely because of the Sistine Chapel. I mean, that one accomplishment alone is what puts him in the top spot for me, because I don't think you can compare with a single epic work, compared to the Sistine Chapel. I just don't. I just think that one work alone puts him in the top spot for painter and artist. Leonardo da Vinci was a true genius. He was into invention, he was into scientific study, and all the rest of it. But Michelangelo, in terms of an artist, is heralded in more art books and more art literature. There's a fantastic book called Human Accomplishment, where a man has essentially studied some of the most, here it is, Charles Murray. He's essentially done an outstanding analysis of human accomplishment from the 8th century BC all the way up to present day history. And it's an outstanding read. He basically harvests some of the biggest names in the majority of fields in art and science and world history, and has an excellent discussion. Michelangelo is consistently at the top of the lists of artists in world history, and so is Leonardo da Vinci. So let's do the math on Michelangelo, so you can see the glory of Jesus. First of all, Michelangelo by itself, which is curiously the way he's referred to always. Isn't it interesting? I find it very interesting how we just call Michelangelo Michelangelo, because that's just the best word. It's 3-digit all factor 8 number that divides by 8 perfectly. In fact, it's the first 3-digit all factor 8 number that divides by 8 perfectly. Okay? So there you go. We've already taken his common name for the glory of g is equals 8 at 8 in 12 letters, no less. Now, I believe this is his full birth name. Yep, we got it, bang on the nose. So the full birth name of Michelangelo is 424, which is a 3-digit all-factor 8 number, and that is 8 times the 16th prime. Wow, it doesn't get any better than that. And folks, I ask you, I honestly ask you before God Almighty, do you think that God is going to pass up the opportunity to take the glory for Jesus mathematically for the world's greatest painting ever achieved in the history of the universe? If you have never been to the Sistine Chapel in person, in real living color, I absolutely encourage you to make a trip out there at some point in your life if you can, scheduled with all the other great sites in Europe. If you cannot, that you at least watch as many videos of being there as you can in life in person, so you can even start to understand the scale of this man's achievement. This ceiling is so high and so vast that it instantly drops your jaw when you look up at it. And what this man accomplished single-handedly is basically the epitome of human accomplishment, at least in the artistic realm. It is absolutely beyond words. It defies all human standards of accomplishment, that you have probably seen in life up until the day that you saw the Sistine Chapel. Because it's so flawless, it's so unspeakably beautiful, and to think that this guy painted this on a ceiling, with no erasers allowed, no computer software allowed, the most difficult of physical, positioning. This is not a comfortable work area. He's not sitting in a padded chair like most artists are, with a cup of coffee beside him, warm carpet under his feet, perfect lighting beside him at all times. They didn't even have electricity back then. So this guy is painting this whole thing. Who knows what kind of lighting he had? He certainly didn't have electricity. So he's painting this thing in dim light and dark light. He's one hand on one brush doing this whole thing on the ceiling. It defies all human mortal behavior apart from the grace of God. And it was the grace of God that filled the man to do this, and we have just taken it mathematically for the glory of Jesus. Michelangelo, first of all, Michelangelo equals 104. The first 3-digit all-factor 8 number that divides by 8 perfectly. His full name by birth, by divine ordinance, equals 424. 3-digit all-factor 8 number that is also a mirror number. Mirror number means that it is symmetrical around the central digit. So there are 4s to the left and the right. It's a mirror number as well, just like Jesus equals 8 at 8. It equals 8 times 53, which is 8 times the 16th prime. 16 is a double of 8. So essentially, in the mind of God, it's a 3-digit all-factor 8 number that is 8 times a double of 8. Furthermore, that is accomplished in exactly 38 letters, which is a double of the 8th prime. God watched this man's birth, the naming of God watched his parents. God watched this man receive the name that he did in birth. Look at how long it is. And folks, I am gathering more information to understand that longer names are greater in glory. First of all, they produce higher values. Second of all, they're more difficult. And thirdly, they're more glorious. I mean, think of a long name is just simply more glorious. And I have seen that so much now. So he has an incredibly long name. The other one that you can look at is Mozart. We solved that earlier. His true birth name is 5 names long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is like 4 and here. So his first name is Michelangelo. This D here is kind of the where he came from. His first name is a 3-digit all-factor 8 number that divides by 8 perfectly. And then where he came, the rest of his name is 320, bang on the nose. Oh my goodness, someone call the president. 320, that's 8 times 40, that's 8 times 8 times 5. I would not be surprised. The more analysis is done on this name, look, that name right there, is just the same as a sevenfold set of the eighth prime. That's the full name of the world's greatest NFL player that we just solved, Jerry Lee Rice, adds to this one number here. So that number is embedded as a part of Michelangelo's full name. So Jerry Lee Rice, the greatest, wide receiver in NFL history, who wears the number 80 and does sort of the mathematical glory of G equals 8 at 8. Well, that sevenfold set of eights is embedded right here in Michelangelo's full name. So this guy is just out of control. Oh my goodness. And then Lodovico is a quintuplet of the eighth prime. So wait a second. Here we have a sevenfold set of the eighth prime. Here we have a quintuplet of the eighth prime. And so altogether, this section of his name is 228, three-digit all-factor 8 number. That is the eighth prime times 12. Bang. That's huge. Okay? And so, I mean, this guy is just hit, but the full name, it is the full birth name, which is 424, bang on the nose, not a penny more or less, which is 8 times the 16th prime, 8 times double 8, and that is accomplished in double eighth prime letters. So in every way, we have solved the greatest painter in world history for G is equals 8 at 8. And, and by the way, he died at age 88. By divine ordinance, to the glory of G is equals 8 at 8. He lived exactly 88 years on this planet for the glory of G is equals 8 at 8. And all of these things are recorded so that I could come along and we could come along at this point in history, discover the mind of God mathematically to glorify his son G equals 8 at 8, and start piecing this whole package together for the glory of G equals 8 at 8 at this point in history. And furthermore, we can intentionally name our children to the highest level of mathematical glory of Jesus, knowing the mind of God, to make sure that he makes these people historic that have the most mathematically glorious names. Let's stop and enjoy a few of his greatest works. And I'm going to solve one of his most famous works, which is David. Probably the most famous statue in the entire universe is the statue of David. Well, first of all, David equals 40 exactly. So instantly, Jesus has your attention. He's saying David equals 40 exactly. Michelangelo, the artist, equals 104. So together, Michelangelo and David equals 144. Three-digit all-factor. We've seen it a million times. Three-digit all-factor 8 divides by 8, 12, and 24 perfectly. Perfect square of 12. Now, this statue, David, has two things in his hands. And this is going back to the Hebrew now. He has a stone and a sling. In the Hebrew, both of those items glorify Jesus equals 8 at 8. The stone is 53, which is the 16th prime, a double of 8. So the stone in David's hand is double 8 in the mind of God. It's the stone that slew Goliath, double 8. In his other hand is a sling. I'm going to show you right now from the Holy Scripture how I'm getting these numbers so that you can have total confidence. You're not missing a single step. You're not falling behind at anything whatsoever. I prefer the classic version of the Blue Letter Bible, which, by the way, is one of the best sites on the internet. First, we're going to look at the word stone, and then I'm going to look at the word sling. Okay? Well, here's stone, and that's in our previous page here. So stone, it's eben. I'm going to come to it right here. It's right here. And we're going to do the math on that instantly. This calculator is geared for Hebrew. Ready? Boom. 16th prime, double 8. 53 is the 16th prime. It's double 8 in the mind of God. So there's the stone that slew Goliath, double 8. And now we are calculating the word sling. Okay, here it is. The sling that slew Goliath. Boom, 200, bang on the nose. So David is holding a sling. Okay, which in Hebrew adds to 200 perfectly. Three-digit all-factor 8 number that divides by 8 perfectly. And the other thing that he's holding in his hand is a stone, which is 16th prime. That's a double of 8. I don't have a sound effect rigged up for your personal pleasure, but it is a double of 8 in the mind of God. Just as glorious. So, stone, double 8, sling, 8 times 25. In every way, Jesus equals 8 at 8 takes the glory for the story of David and Goliath. And David was the 8th of 8 sons. So, this statue is completely taken for the glory of Jesus equals 8 at 8. And you can read more about it, find more gems if you want. But this is probably the most famous statue in the entire world, and there are replicas all over the planet. Just because it is the most famous statue in the world by divine ordinance for the glory of who class? Jesus equals 8 at 8. Awesome. And so let's see if we can backtrack to Mr. Michelangelo, the king. And my goodness, he's basically the greatest artist that ever lived. but we solved his name, and that's the most important thing. And then an analysis of the Sistine Chapel itself, just from a mathematical standpoint, g is equals 8 at 8 completely takes the glory for this entire layout, and you'll see it, an excellent detailed layout of it right about, interesting, they used to have there's an actual diagram of how it's, I can't remember where I saw the diagram of how it's laid out, and you can just start poking into the math on everything to see what else you find. Oh, that glorifies the number 12. There you go, in Italian. Cappella Sistina. Boils down to 12 exactly by the law of prime. But oh, there it is. Sistine. Oh no, that's without the 12. Pardon me. Don't get excited. But it's the artist that matters. We are talking about the name of the artist itself, Michelangelo. Okay, so there you go. So we've basically solved the greatest artist in history, Leonardo da Vinci. Let's backtrack to Da Vinci so we can do this quickly. So Leonardo da Ser Piero da Vinci, 264. Okay, that's a triple of 88s. And then Michelangelo di Lodovico di Simoni, 424. And then the other artist that I'm going to look at is Raphael, because he is one of the most industrious painters of Christian paintings in the history of the world. This guy painted so many Christian paintings in his very short life of 37 years. It's almost hard to believe that he created such output. But just about all of his paintings are biblical in theme, and I encourage you to see the full gallery of Raphael's paintings, just how many religious paintings he painted. Well, let's do the math on his name. Oh, there it is. There's a quadruple of the 8th prime there. Okay, so he is 244, which is 3-digit all factor 8, and his first name is a quadruple of the 8th prime. So he's not as glorious as Michelangelo in Leonardo da Vinci, but he is quite glorious. Like, his first name is a quadruple of the 8th prime, and then the rest of his name is 168, which is a 7-fold set of triple 8s. Not bad. Pretty darn good. Pretty darn good, I must say. And then his first pair of names is 160 exactly. So he has a fair bit of embedded glory within his name. For example, like his first 2 names add to 160 perfectly. This whole segment adds to 168 perfectly, exactly 8 higher than the previous. His name Raffaello is a quadruple of the 8th prime, and his grand total adds to a 3-digit all factor 8 number. That is very good. Very good indeed. Okay, not quite as certainly not as good as Michelangelo, who is 424. Okay, Michelangelo is superior mathematically to Raphael. Leonardo da Vinci, what was he again? It takes no time. Oh my goodness, yeah, Da Vinci was just divine, perfect, basically a triple of 88s. It's pretty hard to beat that. But I would say that Michelangelo comes close to beating it. I would say that Michelangelo probably does beat it mathematically. Actually, I would say it's a tie. I'd say it's a direct tie between the brilliance of the numbers for Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo, with Raphael coming in 3rd place, and a very close 3rd place. Okay? I'd say a very close 3rd place for Raphael, mathematically. And that is the way they basically rank in world history. Most would agree that Michelangelo and Da Vinci are greater than Raphael, but Raphael is quite amazing.